back right here on Pro Football Today. We're now joined by NFL insider Adam Kaplan, and we've had some news that has rung the bell here, Cap, right before we got going. A.J. Brown officially downgraded to out for tomorrow's game with the Eagles against the Falcons. And then a surprising one, Evan Ingram, with a hamstring injury during warm-ups, is now being ruled out for the Jaguars today against the Cleveland Browns. Here's the thing, though. Surprising injuries. None of this compares to what happened with Christian McCaffrey and the San Francisco 49ers. Though the surprise was likely to us, I don't really understand how this played out the way that it did in that room, where he was expected to play all the way up into Monday, and now we're hearing he could be out as much as a month and a half, maybe 2 months here, Cap. What is your read on McCaffrey and the Niners?
Yeah, here's my understanding. So he's had this calf problem really since last season, and then it kind of morphed into a calf Achilles problem. And because he can power off that injured leg, they're going to back off him for a long time. This is going to linger for most, if not all, the season. It's a kind of a unique injury. It sets them back. There's no question about it. Yes, they had a great win without him against the Jets, but that's one game. Their defense is phenomenal. We know that. This is a good football team. We'll get into Jordan Mason in a second. But where they really miss him, Kevin, is in the pass game. Yes, he's dynamic in the run game, but is his ability to get him matched up on a linebacker and beat that linebacker one-on-one, which he's done throughout his career. Like, this is a tough deal here. This is not what you want. They're a shoo-in to win the division still. I don't see that being an impact. But in terms of long-term, about going through and getting seeded highly for the playoffs, I think it hurts him. It's rare you could say that about a running back, but it does. He's just different. He is the NFL's best running back for a reason.
Cap, we were watching Thursday Night Football here live in primetime in studio, and everybody nationally saw that devastating concussion there to Tua Tagovailoa, which is going to knock him out at least for a few weeks, if not more. I got two questions for you here. Sure. Where are the Dolphins going to go at the quarterback position if they are? And also, long-term ramifications. Let's just say Tua never comes back to the Miami Dolphins.
Yeah, a couple things here. So let's go to the latter first, and we'll get to Skylar Thompson and what I'm told about him. But, yeah, so Tua, remember, he signed his extension, and there's fully guaranteed money through 2026. There's really nothing they can do to get out of it. Now, there are certain things you can do within the cap if he does retire that you can do. But the bottom line is it's a problem for their salary cap. There's no question about it. There are certainly insurance policies that clubs take out. I'm not sure exactly where that is, particularly with Tua's injury history with concussions, Donnie. So that's something they could look at. But the big thing is now going forward, the cap is one thing, and they have to get through what Tua's going to do, and that'll be his decision as he works through talking to doctors around the country and see what his best decision will be. But right now they're going to go with Skylar Thompson. Skylar Thompson is a very limited quarterback. He's a good athlete, not real big, just under 6'2". But the book on him, I'm told, is more of a timing-based quarterback, a little bit limited. Long-term, you have questions. There are other options they could look at. Mike White, who was released prior to the season starting, Skylar Thompson beat him out. He's now in Buffalo's practice squad. They could always look to sign him off there. And quite frankly, Mike White is a more talented quarterback. I get he didn't perform quite where they expected, but the bottom line is they're going to have to add another quarterback. They know this. There's Ryan Tannehill, a former Dolphins first-round pick out there. Tannehill's probably going to look to go to a situation where he would have a chance to play. Well, guess what? Long-term, if the Dolphins want to make the playoffs, they're going to have to get better quarterback play. Thompson's a good story development, to be honest with you, but he's a limited passer.
Cap, I want to turn our attention to New York and Brian Dable, and more importantly, Daniel Jones. A pitiful performance last week against Minnesota. He's owned Washington in regards to the one team that he stepped up in his career. If they somehow, some way lose this matchup and Daniel Jones performs down again in week number 2, any potential to move on and go with Drew Lock? And bigger picture, is Dable on the hot seat?
Well, look, it always – I don't do the hot seat stuff until we get to December. Or unless it's really obvious, if the team is like 0-7 or 0-8, then you could obviously talk about that. We're in week 2. I mean, this is way too early. But look at Daniel Jones. Okay, they're fully locked into his $35 million for fully guaranteed money, right? So they can't get out of it. Nobody's going to take him. That's why he's still on the roster, one of the many reasons. But when you look at the situation going forward, Drew Lock, by the way, had a preseason injury. He's over it now. When you look at this situation with Daniel Jones, they got to see this through a little bit more. Now, talking to teams, if you get to 0-3, you're just trying to survive. That's when you really start looking at it. Now, I would also put a caveat. If he looks worse than last week, okay, if he looks like he can't get out of his own way against the Washington defense, which didn't play well last week, then there's a possibility he could be pulled. But more than likely, it's got to be really, really bad to do it. Because you don't, Joe, talking to clubs about this, you don't want to put in panic. Like Cleveland looks really bad. If we have time, I'll talk about Deshaun Watson. But the bottom line is that was a bad game, okay? Last week they were atrocious at home against Brian Flores and that great defense. But the bottom line is Jones has got to play better, and they got to get better play around him.
Yeah, I mean, also, Kev, no reason to panic with Daniel Jones. He's exactly what he is. He's terrible. And they should have known that when they gave him that contract. Couldn't imagine anybody trying to defend that. You mentioned Deshaun Watson, though, Cap, and that whole thing's a disaster. We know that. The question is, would they even consider benching him? That contract feels like far more of an anchor than the Daniel Jones one. What's your read in Cleveland?
Oh, it is, because after the season, they've got $90 million fully guaranteed over the following 2 seasons. So they're basically stuck with the money. There's nothing they can do to get out of it. It's all fully guaranteed through 2026. Here's the problem, and I knew going in, it's why last week I liked Dallas, and they handled Cleveland. Both offensive tackles, 2 starters, Jack Conklin, the right tackle, and Jedrick Wills, their left tackle, they're out again. And that is a problem. It was a disaster last week. Yes, Watson played poorly. They go into Jacksonville, where Ryan Nielsen is a terrific defensive coordinator, formerly of Atlanta. I get it. The Jaguars have a couple issues in their secondary. Darnell Savage, one of the starting safeties, is out. Tyson Campbell, their best corner, is out. He's on injured reserve, so that is a concern. But, man, when a quarterback who's struggling is without his 2 offensive tackles, guys, they start looking around. They start looking down. They start dropping their eyes and not looking downfield because of it's in the quarterback's head typically about the offensive line. That's why, to me, some way, somehow, Jacksonville figures to win this game.
Adam, contract talks here. Never can get enough with Jamar Chase. He's been in the news from day one in the offseason, and now we're finding out that shutting down talks, there won't be any negotiations, as he says, throughout the remaining parts of this season. Now, is that going to be bad for the talks in the offseason for the Bengals? Is there going to be animosity, which means now I want even more money? How's this going to work its way out?
Donnie, the latter, actually, because now that we've got $35 million a season for Justin Jefferson, the guarantees, that's a great contract, by the way. The money will only go up. It doesn't go down. The Dallas Cowboys learned that the hard way. So you could expect, if they're able to get a deal done, it's going to absolutely eclipse Justin Jefferson's deal. And look, the Bengals are not a cash-rich team like the Cowboys, and like some of the other top teams who are readily available in terms of cash. And you just never got the feeling that the Bengals were going to break the bank and get to the Jefferson deal. Though they worked hard on it and they didn't get too far away, it's not what Chase wanted. Honestly, though, this actually, if that's the case here, if Chase, typically, once you get into week 2 and week 3, extensions don't get done. What happens is around Thanksgiving, when things calm down, sometimes you restart the talks. That actually could help the team. Just put that behind them. Because that was a story leading up. They didn't know how much he'd play, although I'm told they kind of thought, based on practice, he'd be able to play. But just putting this behind him is a good thing. And look, it's going to be tough. Remember now, T. Higgins is out. Again, with a hamstring problem. They got to get Joe Burrow going. He had a tough game. We know he starts off poorly early. I wish the Chief Bengal game was later in the season by the time the Bengals could get their offense together.
Sorry, Kev, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but I just have to ask you, is there any truth to this idea that Joe Burrow is not healthy, in your opinion?
Well, no, he tweaked his wrist last week, but I've not heard anything would suggest that he's not ready to go.
All right, interesting stuff, certainly. We got a lot more injury conversations to have here with the doc around the corner. But, Cap, we appreciate it. Adam Kaplan, NFL Insider, helping us out here on a very busy Sunday. Thanks, Cap.
You got it.
All right, great stuff there. The one other big story that we didn't really get into, but there are reports saying that Justin Fields has a real chance to win this job, Joe. We'll see what they can do in Denver. We'll get a health update on Russell Wilson and a lot more with the Pro Football Doc next. Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in
on the biggest games each night, I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
in!
But he had that program was already going there.
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season.
All right, let's get straight to it here. Go to SixScore.com. All the injury analysis and information that you need to help you make these bets here on a busy Sunday. And also try and keep up with what has been already a very busy start to this season. Doc, we appreciate you making some time. I'm sure you've already talked about it a lot, reported on it a lot, but I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't ask you your thoughts on this Tua Tagovailoa situation. Another scary, very, very scary situation with a concussion in prime time against the Buffalo Bills, Doc. There's reports that he doesn't plan on retiring, but he'll see some neurologists. What do you make of everything going on here?
Well, what we make of it is we knew going into last season, we downgraded Tua Tagovailoa. He had a great season, but we knew even last year, and the same went this year, if he got another concussion, it wouldn't be a one-week deal, given his history. If you count college, this may be indeed his fifth concussion in 5 years. Now, Mitch Morris, center for now the Jaguars, has had 6 concussions in his career and continues to play. Look, let Tua make his choice. Let him see the doctors. Let him make the right decision. But at least the Dolphins and Tua are doing the right things, not putting a timeline on it yet. And let's hope he has a choice if he can safely return to play.
Let me ask you this quickly, though, Doc, and because maybe this does not matter, but with these Tua concussions, yes, it being in prime time and it being a quarterback, but it's the fencing that I think is always what elevates the concern when we see it. Does that matter? I don't really know how else to ask it. Does that mean that it's an elevated level of a concussion when we see those type of reactions for the athlete?
Well, certainly to every viewer, it's elevated concern. And Tua got hit in the temple on the DeMar Hamlin hit, and then also hit the back of his head on the turf. The fencing response, believe it or not, looks bad, but does not necessarily make it a worse concussion. All concussions are serious and should be taken seriously with or without the fencing response. But just that decerebrate posturing itself doesn't necessarily mean that there is permanent brain damage or a risk for that. The neurologists need to discuss and examine him. To me, symptoms that last longer, weeks, etc., is the worst prognosis factor rather than the immediate fencing response.
Doc, the San Francisco 49ers are going to take on the Minnesota Vikings today. One thing we do know is Christian McCaffrey won't be there, similar to what we saw in week number 1. However, he was placed on IR. Can you talk about the severity of the injury that he has, and also, when can he come back?
Well, we talked about it at Sports Injury Central. everything changed when it went from preseason to week 1 calf and Achilles. Achilles tendonitis is the worry, and the 49ers are playing it safe. The risk of Achilles tendon rupture when you have tendonitis is significantly higher. I'm not saying it's a 10 or 20% risk, but if the normal risk is 0.01%, the risk for someone with Achilles tendonitis might be 1%. That's a 100-fold increase in risk. And the 49ers can't afford to lose McCaffrey. They're doing the smart thing by giving him time and putting him on injured reserve. And it's the Achilles tendonitis that increases the risk, not just the calf soreness or calf muscle strain.
Doc, looking at the wide receiver position today for the Minnesota Vikings, obviously Justin Jefferson will be there, but Jordan Addison is not going to play. Was that a surprise this week? He wasn't able to tough out that ankle injury, and will that mean a short return, or should I say a short stint here before being back next week?
Well, the problem with Jordan Addison's injury is he had a left mild high ankle sprain in the preseason and now a mild right. He, quote, doesn't have a good leg to stand on, so to speak. And so I think it's a short absence. But, in general, if you look at our field views, we still have Minnesota as the healthier side as they host the 49ers today.
Doc, big update in regards to Jordan Love in Green Bay. He's going to miss multiple weeks. Where are we in regards to his recovery?
Well, the good news is everyone is focused on that kneecap pop. And we said that's not a season-ending deal. He's going to be okay. We're still hopeful and expecting him, and he hasn't been put on injured reserve. We're targeting, if things go right for Jordan Love, he might be able to return to play for week 4 for the Vikings, certainly ahead of a week 6, which would be his return if he would hit IR, which he has not. So that's certainly good news for Packers fans.
When you say hopeful, though, are we looking more in terms of his ability to plant? Are we looking in regards to pain? What is it that we really look for from the medical aspect, his ability to run, in regards to his assessment?
Well, Jordan Love is left side, left knee, front leg, and many healthy quarterbacks put a brace on that leg. I expect him to return to play with a brace. And look, if he can function from the pocket, even if he can't run like he normally does, he will still be a huge asset to the Packers. And that's when week 4, certainly week 5, I think he can function from the pocket, and that's when you'll see him back.
Cap, the least healthy team on SixScore.com is 79.7. That would be the L.A. Rams. How bad is this right now for L.A. considering it's only week 2?
Well, you saw it. They did a great job. Hats off to Matt Stafford and Sean McVay. Their left side of the offensive line was decimated against Detroit. They came in not healthy, and they went to a very quick, short passing game to adapt and almost beat Detroit. But this is all on film now. They're on left tackle 3, left guard 3, and then the center has to move over. So it's the whole left side of the offensive line. They've got some quarterback issues still in terms of recovery and injury for the Rams, and that's what makes them the least healthy team today. And Arizona, relatively healthy, except they did lose their starting right tackle, Jonah Williams, last week.
Cap, quickly, Kirk Cousins, a lot of people going, oh, wow, he doesn't look the same. I know you said he's healthy, but is there perhaps a difference between healthy and not looking the same?
Well, it's a new team, new scheme, another year. Is he 100%? I don't think Aaron Rodgers or Kirk Cousins is as good as they were before the Achilles. Are they capable to play football and be in there and play from the pocket?
Yeah.
Absolutely. How much of it is rust and new system versus Achilles? I think it's more rust and new system than health.
All right, time will certainly tell, though, how he looks on a Monday night. Rodgers in action today against the Titans. We appreciate it, Doc. The Pro Football Doc, Dr. David Chow. Go to SixScore.com. All the information you need with all the injuries happening in the National Football League. We're right back with some Sell Me Something here on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night, I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
again!
But he had that program was already going there.
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season.
Sell me something. Man, oh man, is this going to be a good one? We've accidentally done this segment 3 or 4 times somehow during this show, it feels like.
Yeah.
Whose fault is that? I don't know.
I don't know, dude.
It feels like we
quick
have.
Too. Can we get another hour squeezed in?
Let's do it. I'll talk an hour.
push
Can we have
the
a
games
watch
back?
party? A watch party?
Push the games back.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
Man, give me time to get home.
So sell me something.
Yeah,
Start time
selfish.
should be 2 p.m.
Selfish.
so you can get home in time.
Exactly.
Nice spread, a little mortadella and some cheese for you. Oh?
For me?
Yeah, and me.
Oh, okay.
Nice board.
Nice board for
Read
us.
the board.
Okay, interesting. Databank trying to feed me on air, trying to slow me down. Okay. Donnie, bat us off here. Sell me something. What do you got?
Last week, technically, I was right. Even though I took the loss, I was right.
That's right.
Because I said that one quarterback in Will Levis would throw more touchdown passes than Caleb Williams. 1-0 win. But you have to have a bet included. That's not actually a bet here.
Yeah.
So I had to go over 1.5 touchdown passes. He didn't get that. Technically, he actually did. One to his team, one to the other team. But that's not how we cash in bets. Today, I'm looking at you, Daniel Jones. Now, we understand you make $40 million, and we're not even asking a lot. Wait to see the payoff on what I'm talking about, because it's a parlay. We're not going one Daniel Jones. We're going 2 Daniel Jones today. And you know what that is? To score 1 rushing touchdown and throw 1 passing touchdown. And the laugher of this is, the easy part of it is probably him scoring his own rushing touchdown, as well as him throwing a touchdown is what you're supposed to do in the NFL. The reason I bring it up here is I don't like Daniel Jones. Kevin doesn't like him. I don't even know if any Giants fans are left liking him after those videos that surfaced, him leaving the stadium. Danny, throw me $1 million. Give me a couple pennies over here. Hear me out on this. When your job is on the line, you're going to do whatever it takes to try to win a football game. This, for the Giants, is actually a winnable football game against the Washington Commanders. I see him running one in and throwing one. It's plus 325. That's nothing. Yesterday, what did I have? Milrow running one, passing one. Got that done in like 5 minutes.
Wow.
I'm not talking about he's Milrow, but at the same time, this isn't a hard ask at a great price at this point. And as Kevin would like to say here, this guy went to Duke. The guy that went from Duke to Notre Dame, Riley Leonard, his job was on the line yesterday. He had a big day. Same thing with Daniel Jones. Same guys, same school, cut from the same ilk. He's getting it done today.
I love the look because I'm on the over, so great look.
Yep.
Another guy whose potential job is on the line is Deshaun Watson.
Ooh.
And when you don't have not 1 tackle but 2 tackles out, what do you do?
Now, what is this?
Tempo. 211.5. He threw for 169 last week. Pathetic. 2 turnovers with the interceptions, the fumbles. You need a much better effort. All I know is that this team last year put up 31 on that defense. Now, that was with Joe Flacco. And I know Njoku's out. I don't care. You got to get the football to your wideouts. You have to throw the football. 211, and this guy's worth how much? $280 million? I mean, come on. He's got to earn it. He has to earn it. Bottom line, get to 250 today. Why? Well, what's the leg?
Now, here's the best part of leg. You get to 250. You only need 212. You don't got to get to 250.
I mean, 250 would be nice.
Should have altered it.
Well, I mean, for sell me something, it's low. So, set
Kept
expectation low. Okay. And when he blows, I learned from the best.
Well,
set the expectation low. Didn't you said that in the conference room before the show?
I don't remember that. I don't remember saying that one
look,
at
the
all.
show's going to be bad. It's going to be
great.
No,
not about the show. He was talking about betting. He was talking about you set the bar low and then you over exceed it. Looks amazing.
Well, with the Saturday into the Sunday, it's possible. But I also, I decided, so last week I gave out the Rico Dowdle touchdown.
Yeah, 4-1.
And it didn't win. But Lisi goes, I don't like it. It's too good of a pick inside. Sell me something. Right? Now, no. Hold on.
4-1 price.
I said, I got to move some things around.
Right. Okay.
And I got to go back to the roots of this segment.
Yes.
Right.
This segment was born on one quarterback's arm and his inability to ever throw for 200 yards. It was Justin Fields.
Yeah.
So I'm today taking Justin Fields to throw for 200 yards plus 300.
Brothers in arms. I love the pick.
Look at that. It's
great pick. Might be your best sell me
honestly,
something.
think of that number, though. It's not, usually that's 400 yards or 450 at 3-1. 200 yards for a starting quarterback in the NFL is priced at a 3-1 price.
This is your best sell me something.
I love
the
where he's
pick.
going. Look at the hair,
gonna
too.
blow right
Look at the kid's lattice out there.
Let me tell you, when he wins today, and he knocks out Bo Nix and Sean Payton, who, by the way, I'm going on record, will not finish the year as coach. He'll walk away. Bobby Petrino 2.0.
Wow.
Bye. He didn't sign up for this. He'll be back in the broadcast booth before you know it.
I'll take over. I'll take over on the week C coaches that team. I will. I'll take over.
200 passing yards
plus
at 3-1, though. That is outrageous. Now, see, that's something we can get down on today.
I love
that's
it.
Something we can
I love I love Pittsburgh.
Here's my other thing. Sometimes DRS you don't mind if you can get someone else to do a little heavy lifting for you in a segment or so.
Yes.
If I just do Justin Fields every week, Lisi will do the whole breakdown for me.
Oh, love it.
Which I like.
Yep, exactly.
No, I like that. That's good.
I mean, who's going to be Nicolosi today? What's the guy's name last night?
Come on, man. Don't bring up Air Force.
Football.
Don't bring up Air Force. Don't bring up Air Force. Please don't bring up Air Force. We didn't bring up Air Force.
Colorado.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
again! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land. The Las Vegas Football Contest Show focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season.
right here on Sports Grid. It's Kevin Walsh. It's Donnie Rightside. It's Joe Lisi. It's whip around time, just like you like it. We're going through all 14 games. Before you know it, it'll be best bet time. Let's start it off in Dallas. The Cowboys, a 6.5-point favorite. Total is climbing. 47.5 now out there as Dallas hosts New Orleans. Joe, what do you like?
I like Dallas, but I lean to the under. I'm not sold that New Orleans offense is going to be consistent on the road. I still like the Dallas D. I do like Taysom Hill, Donnie, in regards to his receiving total, 15.5 if I had to take a prop look.
Here's the problem with you're looking to back New Orleans. They were so good in week number 1. We have to remind ourselves, guys, it's still Derek Carr. He's going on the road against the Dallas Cowboys. He's very good at home. I'll lay the 6.5 points, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
Usually I'd say, you know what? 47 points last week. Dallas can crank it up. I do think the under 47.5 makes some sense. Give me Dallas in the under.
I've been looking under all week. The way that this number's climbing. See, I don't get worried about stuff like that. I feel like now I'm getting a better number. I'm going to be adding 47.5 under to my card for today here. I agree with Donnie. I know that the Saints are banged up defensively here. I still think there's enough pop that they can hang with Dallas, who offensively did not find a way to turn it loose last week. But CeeDee Lamb is my favorite bet. He's my favorite guy on today's slate. Over 89.5 receiving yards. Anytime touchdown score will hit that as well. I cannot tell you enough about CeeDee Lamb. Marshawn Lattimore does not make the starting card here today. It's going to be a huge day for CeeDee Lamb against New Orleans. How about Detroit and Tampa? Rematch of a divisional round game in the playoffs last season where the Lions, as 6.5-point favorites, won by 8. Today, 7.5-point favorites, total 51.5.
Yeah, I like Tampa Bay in regards to this matchup. Again, I'm a little leery over the 7, but I'll still take the points with Baker Mayfield and that high-powered offense, 289 through the air, 4 touchdowns. I'm on Mike Evans. Had a big playoff game in the second half. I think he eats today, 68.5. I altered him up to 80+. And, Donnie, if we're going Detroit, I like Jahmyr Gibbs in the receiving game over the 23.5.
I think Jahmyr Gibbs does have a good game in the receiving. Also, I'm looking for Montgomery anytime touchdown today. I think he punches one in short in the goal line because they're going to be no shorter of scoring. 51.5, I'm still going to go over the total. The 7.5 is kind of tough. I know they're baiting us to take the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in this spot. I do think the Detroit Lions are the better team, will win. I don't like the side itself, but also, I told you guys, over 3.5 touchdown passes in this game. These two teams are going to be slinging it. We don't have to worry about any conditions there since it's a dome. And number 2, banged up secondary on Tampa Bay. Let's get some points, boys.
Give me Tampa plus the 7.5 here. I think that Detroit's getting too much respect in the market. I know that the Bucs defense is banged up. The Lions defense is not fixed. I don't know who's trying to sell that tale. I don't believe it one bit there. Aaron Glenn has been bad for that team his entire time. I can tell Dan Campbell's a loyal guy, but it's going to burn. That Lions defense not good enough for me to be laying 7.5 with the way Baker and the Bucs look in week 1. Jags lay 3 here to Cleveland. A lot of injuries for the Browns. Both tackles, David Njoku, out as well. Jaguars blew one last week against the Miami Dolphins. Total 41.5 here, Lisi. What do you like?
Yeah, I like Jacksonville. The fact that they're at home, a much better home team than they are on the road. I think they'll be able to run it. They had over 100 yards with Bigsby and Etienne last week, over 4 yards per carry. I think if they start fast, they'll put the pressure on Deshaun Watson. I can only look Jags, and I do like the over. Liked it all week. A little reluctant now with all the injuries, but Watson has to get over the 211.5 today, Donnie, for Cleveland to have a shot.
I think we're getting a little bit cheap price here at -3. Take a look at last week. What would this number possibly be if the Jaguars didn't fumble that ball on the goal line with the ETN, go up basically 2 touchdowns heading into the fourth quarter, win that going away? I think you're getting more than 3 points here. So if I'm looking from that perspective, I do like the Jacksonville Jaguars to get the win and cover. 41.5, I do lean towards the under, and also there's a raging inferno that might be happening here in Cleveland if this game does not go the way they want it to. And I don't even mean getting a win. You lose this game 14-6, or something ridiculous like that. They need offense. If they lose this game and put up 28 points in a shootout, okay, Deshaun Watson was probably fine. But you can't have back-to-back performances that bad being 0-2. That pressure is going to escalate in Cleveland.
It's a great point in terms of Watson. They lose this game 31-30.
Yes.
It still, though, reinforces my points that the team is cooked. Because the defense can't go, that's not sustainable. They're just not going, and that's the kind of my thing here. I think Jacksonville can win this game kind of either way Cleveland looks to play it. Let's get involved here with Carolina and L.A. The Chargers, 4.5-point road favorites, 38.5 listed total. I'm on over in this game. The Chargers defense was not as good as the box score suggests due to awful coaching decisions made by Antonio Pierce that let them off the hook. I do think the Carolina offense will be better this week, but I don't trust trust their defense losing their best player in Derek Brown. Give me over 38.5 Chargers-Panthers, Joe.
I'm going to take the points with Carolina reluctantly just because it is a West Coast team coming for a 1 p.m. kick. The coaching advantage, the quarterback advantage. Why is this line only 4.5 and it opened up at 5.5? So to me, something is up. I'll take the home team. I'm with you, though. Bounce back for Bryce Young. You got to put up more than 10 points, especially now in game number 2. So I'm with you on the over. Points.
I can't sell the bounce back notion with Bryce Young. He had 19 chances to bounce back so far. It hasn't bounced. He's been bounced out of the stadium, basically, and I think that's going to happen again today. The one thing we know about Jim Harbaugh, he knows how to coach on game day, which means if that ground game is working, he will stick with it. 13 play drives, 68 yards, 9 minutes off the clock. They'll chew today. Dobbins finds his way into the end zone. The 4.5 is interesting because I do think that game is going under 38.5, and I do think it'll be lower scoring. I just don't know what the Panthers can put up. They were so embarrassing last week and last year. I have no confidence that they can bounce back to anything, guys.
It's fair enough. I mean, look, the Carolina thing could be full disaster.
Yeah.
We'll see how they hang today against the Chargers and Harbaugh. How about the Raiders catching 8.5 against the Baltimore Ravens? Total here 41.5. Look, it's a tough game. It's always tough to lay double, or over a touchdown this early on in the NFL season. I don't trust the Raiders. Look, I know I mentioned the Pierce stuff a lot. I still can't get over the decisions that were made last week. Extra rest for Baltimore. I actually lean the Ravens' direction. This won't be on my card.
I actually like the Raiders a lot in terms of this matchup. One of my better picks for today. I like Gardner Minshew on the road. I think Zamir White eats, and the rushing attack, his total is 46.5. And again, we talk about Minshew in this stadium last year with the Colts, got the outright win in regards to overtime. I think they can make some plays. I think this line should be in the area of 7. You want to give me an extra 1.5? I'll take it with the Raiders, Donnie.
I think the Ravens are going to be able to move the football today. I do. Sometimes you have that opening night, and again, you have a couple wide open passes that you miss, but that one toe, if they get that 2-point conversion, I bet you they would have got that too. They would be winning and then coming home. Maybe we even see a 10-point line. Revenge for the Ravens offense here. That 41.5 looks good. Why? Gardner Minshew's a vet. He's not going to go in there like, hey, we got to run the ball and we got 13, 14 pass attempts. No, Gardner Minshew's going to throw it close to 30 times at least in this ball game. Give me over 41 here, guys.
Minshew did not look Devontae Adams' way enough last week. I wonder if that's rectified here a little bit against Baltimore. Seattle goes to New England, a field goal favorite. I am on the New England Patriots plus 3.5. If those hooks are out there, I do think they are valuable here with a very low total in this football game. The Patriots last week showed that they're going to be able to let Ramondre Stevenson be the bell cow to try and keep them inside these numbers here. Seattle banged up in their entire linebacker room and missing their lead dog in Ken Walker. It's a little bit more difficult going on the road. I'm going to trust the Pats here in a good spot.
I can't take Jacoby Brissett and the Pats, even though they stepped up in regards to week 1 against Joe Burrow. I still lean to the defense of Seattle. Defensive-minded head coach at McDonald. You got to take away Ramondre Stevenson. You shut him down. Patriots have absolutely nothing in terms of the perimeter. That's where I give the edge to Seattle and Geno in that passing attack. So I lean to the under, though. I don't think there's any way New England wants to get this game over the 38.5. Give me Seattle and the under, Donnie.
If Seattle wins the turnover battle, I don't care if it's 3-1, 2-1, or 1-0 at this point. I think they beat the New England Patriots because I do think they're a challenge, to say the least. But also, that 3.5 now that we were talking about earlier is now down to 3. That's a huge difference because I look at that 39.5, and in no way, shape, or form, guys, to say these two teams are going to move it up and down the field. So I do lean towards the Seahawks here. But again, the 39.5, give me the under this. I just don't see many explosive plays on either side.
Yeah,
all right, let's sneak this one in here quickly. Packers, Colts. A 2.5-point spread here for Indianapolis against Malik Willis, total 41.5.
I like the Packers, but I really like the under. I don't see any way this game goes over the 40.5. I like Josh Jacobs today.
I cannot go Packers with Malik Willis at quarterback. I'm sorry. I got to go Colts.
Give me Jonathan Taylor anytime touchdown at plus 120 here. 6-game touchdown streak dating back to last season. Saquon in week number 1 had 2 rushing scores, another one in the air. Would have been another one on the ground if Hurts wasn't trying to get a little tush-push action going late in that football game. We got plenty more to go, plenty of time to make it happen with you. It's Pro Football Today on SportsGrid. We'll be right back.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoff.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was But he had that program was already going there.
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circus Sports Million, Circus Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season.
All right, let's keep it moving here. We've got the whip around for you on Pro Football today. We go to Tennessee, the Titans. This number's been moving all day. 3.5, 4.5 here. The Titans at home against the New York Jets. Total sitting right now 41.5, Lisi. What do you see here?
I would take the points with Tennessee. Again, I think everybody's banking on Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. They do have the quarterback advantage. They do have the defensive advantage, but I'll take the points with Tennessee. Just not sold in terms of New York, big picture, back-to-back road games. Lean to the over, but I don't love it.
Let me tell you something. The Jets don't go on the road and win this football game by more than a field goal. Yeah. It's all panic on the Jets. It's a wrap. It's over. It's referendum day.
Wow.
So I look at this game and say the Jets absolutely must have a runaway because I know how much you love Robert Saleh as the head coach and you want to stay there long-term for the Jets. They need this game. 41.5, I guess it leans toward the under, but if the Jets win 20-17, I'm not like, oh, that's a good win by the Jets. I'm like, this team is cooked. That's honestly the way I feel.
So if they lose,
it's over.
You're selling
If they lose this game, it is going to be absolute mayhem in New York.
I think it's fair to. Look, the panic meters have to be adjusted, though I know you couldn't adjust yours anymore. A loss here, and it's not just based on what the Titans did last week. You're all of a sudden sitting there 0-2. And you can't have that if you're the New York Jets when Rodgers was supposed to come in and steady the ship here. If they do lose this game, which I don't think they will, I agree with you. Yeah. I would lean towards the Jets here. How it happens is going to be the most interesting thing to me because does Rodgers struggle or is the defense weak? It's going to have to be one of the two.
Well, it could be a combination, right? It could be. I think it's a combination.
It's a wrap.
Well, here's the thing: if he turns the football over, then all of a sudden it's going to be implosion, right? Because then you're going to get the media questioning him. He's not going to be. They say he's built for this. This isn't Green Bay. Look at what they did with the Giants. We anointed Brian Dable, Bill Belichick, after beating Kirk Cousins in the playoff game in year number 1. Where are they now? He's fighting for his job.
Yeah, listen, well, that's Daniel Jones' fault entirely. Speaking of which, a 1.5-point dog in Washington today. This has been a dropping number. People have been betting the Giants throughout the week here. Total listed now up to 42.5. That's been moving around as well. Lisi, I know you're really involved with Commanders, John.
They have the better quarterback. They have the better skill talent, and I think they step up today. Jaden Daniels, I think, goes through his number 197.5. Big day for McLaurin. I took him up to 80+, and I told you, Donnie, plus 240 to hit pay dirt. And again, you want to discount the number from 43.5 to 42.5? Thank you. Over.
Yeah, 2 rookies rookie quarterbacks in this game. One playing in his second game, one playing in his 6th year here. We'll see which one is able to actually prevail in this spot. That's why we're selling people something on the New York Giants. But I got to tell you, I can't take the Commanders as a favorite yet. Giants, baby. Big Blue.
Wow.
Truly, this game they shouldn't even be allowed to play. Both of these teams are terrible here. If you made me bet this game, I actually would bet the Commanders, though. How are the Giants under field goal on the road with Daniel Jones as their quarterback? I mean, I just want nothing to do with it. Niners, Vikings.
Dropping number
-4. Yeah, Minnesota is, if we're being rude, Vikings seem like that sharp wheel play where the smartest man in the room ends up accidentally betting Sam Darnold against the San Francisco 49ers. We've seen this movie. 46.5 listed total here. I could only look towards the Niners, but I love Deebo Samuel over 23.5 rushing yards. Chance to blow through that number with the way he was rushing the ball last week. Didn't have the efficiency. He had the volume. Bank on volume.
Yeah, I go back to San Francisco. Again, it opened up at 4.5. They bet it up to 6.5. It's down now again because of Sam Darnold. They lost this game last year, so I don't expect them to come in, not focused. They're going to be focused, looking for a road win, and I look for Juwan Jennings. Again, a low number, 23.5. The security blanket on third. He could be the leading wide receiver for this group.
Apparently, nobody watched the Monday Night Football game. I was like, that's just an average win for the 49ers. And maybe the best win of the year, the Minnesota Vikings beat Daniel Jones in MetLife Stadium. I look at that 4-point number, and I think the price is right. You used to be devastated by them. Christian McCaffrey going to be gone until probably week 5. Oh, well, Jordan Mason went for over 100 last week. He should have similar results in this game. The Niners are better, but also, two offenses, I think they can get over 46.5 points today. I do. I think they can get there.
All right, a little bit of juice in that football game. Cardinals, Rams, flipping number. Rams flashing as the favorite. Love Arizona here. Rams are so banged up. Offensive line is a disaster. Don't listen to what this guy's about to tell you. It's not better when your offensive line is all in.
That's it. No shot. The Rams have no shot.
No, the game's picked. You're betting them on the road. I'm just letting you know that when your offensive line's banged up, it's a bad thing. That's
it's possible. Kyron Williams over 75.5. They do it with the rushing attack. When you have three offensive,
you threw it when the offensive line was
switching up.
You have a defense that gave up $143 and gave up how much on the ground to Josh Allen and James Cook last week. Here's the thing too: isn't Sean McVay? He owns the Cardinals. What is he? 13-2 against the number, or 13-2 straight up. Better coach, better quarterback, better personnel. I don't care about the offensive line. That defense is terrible for Arizona.
It's one of those teams I talked about before the season. I want to be a part of every single game they play. So you see that 47.5, I think it comes into play. But also, Marvin Harrison Jr., this is one of those games where he's in the mid-50s or so with his prop. If you saw last week, barely involved, and the quarterback basically saying, well, it's not my job to get him involved in the game, which I thought was hilarious. Trust me, he will be involved in this game plan. I do think we get some points, because why? Both of these teams banged up here. You Cardinals got a decent quarterback here that can make some plays with his feet to extend the pocket. Cooper Kupp should be open all day long. Give me a little bit of that over here, but I do agree the Rams actually should be favored in this game.
They are favored.
How can Arizona be a favorite at any time? I mean, come on now.
Well, I mean, listen, all in all, somebody that was on the Rams in week number 1, I think what they put forward and what Arizona put forward were comparable. I know Arizona's defense was bad.
He hates on him, so next week he goes against him. Is that the game plan?
No. Listen, that's fine. Sometimes teams cost you. You come back to them. This is not that type of spot here for the Rams, who, again, are incredibly, incredibly banged up. Also missing Puka Nacua, which is going to make things difficult on that football team here. Let's get the Broncos-Steelers game off the board here quickly. 36.5 listed total. 2.5 number for Pittsburgh on the road here, Joe.
Yeah, I like Justin Fields. I like the defense of the Steelers going on the road to limit Bo Nix. I like the Steelers. I like Justin Fields, to your point. 200-plus through the air, 50 on the ground. They grind out a win, but I really like the under. I don't see how they get over it.
Steelers are win. They're black and gold, but today it's going to be fool's gold. They'll cover this. They'll win. Lower-scoring game. Everybody, hey, that's what Tomlin does. They'll be obsolete the rest of the way and won't win any playoff games. So
look,
there you go.
Pittsburgh has a chance to win this, get to 2-0. They've got two of the other teams in the division are dogs.
MVP?
Russ back.
MVP?
MVP. Always a step too far with this guy.
Well,
I think he could.
I Evergreen content. Evergreen.
July 4th? Where are we?
Up next, game of the week, Sunday Night Football and best bets. Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
It's a new era in CFB to start off this year, put on full display.
My take on this game is simple. I know some people will be upset about it. Good riddance to the Pac-12.
Can you do it in terms of the week to week to week?
I don't see a pathway for this team to miss the college football playoffs.
We want to make sure you have those best bets in the entirety of our betting cards.
That was
thinking! But he had that program was already going there!
Only on SportsGrid.
The sharpest football contest show in the land, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show, focuses on Circa Sports Million, Circa Survivor, and the Westgate Super Contest, handicapping the games and releasing our contest picks every week of the season. With two former Super Contest winners, Brady Cannon and James Salinas, a former NFL player, Mike Pritchard, and over $1 million in contest prize money won combined, the Las Vegas Football Contest Show will have you prepared this season.
Closing out another edition of Pro Football Today. Joe Lisi, Donnie Rightside. I'm Kevin Walsh. We got a lot to get to here, including our game of the week. The Cincinnati Bengals go to Kansas City, needing a win. Jumping number, 6.5 point spread here, Donnie. What do you like in this game?
By the way, news just came out there. A insurance policy for Jamar Chase.
Ooh.
$50 million he bought, so I guess his head's going to be cleared to play this game and to play the rest of the way. I don't care. I don't think the head's cleared there for that team. I don't think Joe Burrow's playing great football. I don't think they can make explosive plays. And you're telling me Kansas City's at home with basically a de facto bye with Andy Reid in their own building? Stop it. 7-point win plus for Kansas City for me today.
I'm going to take the points, Kev. We talk about Burrow's success, 3-1 overall, 313 passing yards per game against Kansas City, 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. I got to buy those stats, and I think they step up on the road and potentially strike the upset.
My best bet's in this game, so I'm going to leave it alone for a second. We're going to hit that in just a minute here. Let's get to Sunday Night Football. Texans, Bears. Surprisingly, looks like Roman Dunze is going to be up for this game. We'll figure out the story on Keenan Allen. I'm in on DJ Moore over 5.5 receptions. Caleb Williams anytime touchdown score at plus 410. And I'm also waiting to see if I can get plus 7 on Chicago. Maybe it doesn't come, but I look towards the dog on Sunday night, Joe.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Houston and C.J. Stroud. Keep an eye out for Joe Mixon as well. 159 yards last week. I think it continues. The lack of weapons for Caleb Williams, Donnie, is the factor why I'm taking the Houston. More complete team and a rookie quarterback. That's the difference.
First road game, rookie quarterback, primetime football. That place is going to be explosive down there in Houston. I like Stephon Diggs also to find his way into the end zone. Got 2 last week. He'll get 1 this week, and also 2 touchdown passes for C.J. Stroud. I think they walk away with a touchdown victory.
It's going to be tough to see what this Texans team can do in terms of feeding all those wide receivers. Yeah. Last week, we were able to see the touchdowns there for Stephon Diggs, the yardage for Nico Collins. Tank Dell was left kind of waiting a little bit, just props-wise, all stuff to keep tabs on. All right, let's make it happen. Best bets here. I'll just start us off just because I teased it. Cincinnati, team total over 20.5 minus 110 here. Bounce back Burrow, baby. This is now going to be the 7th time, kind of the 8th, where he is coming off of a loss where they scored 14 or less points. I'm removing the rookie year game where he blew out his knee against the Commanders. If you look outside of that, 6-0 in getting to at least 21 points averaging 31 and a half points per game in this exact spot here, where they scored less than 14 off of a loss. Bounce back Burrow over 20 and a half, Joe.
I think Joey Silk gets it done. Jamar Chase, a big performance as well. I'm buying in on the Bengals. I'll go to Washington. I was very impressed with Cliff Kingsbury and that offense in the second half. They have the best quarterback on the field, Heisman Trophy winner in terms of Jaden Daniels. Didn't get over his passing total last week. He blows through it today, and I think they do it on the ground, through the air, and they force turnovers against Daniel Jones and the New York Giants. I understand that Danny Dimes owns Washington. Not today, baby. Alted over, party over again, week number 2.
Should be interesting to watch. You do need the Giants to participate, so you need to cheer on Daniel Jones. He's going to rush one. He's going to throw one. That's going to help you get your total. But you know what I'm going with today? We're going to go inside the dome here. It's going to be Baker Mayfield to throw over 1.5 touchdown passes against Detroit. Donnie, why don't you just go with Jared Goff today to throw 2? I think he does get that, which is why it plays me into over 3.5 touchdown passes on a side bet. But Baker Mayfield is going to be playing possibly from behind most of this day. Where's the way, guys, that you attack the Detroit Lions? It's through the secondary. You got Godwin, you got Evans, and you got a smoking hot quarterback coming in with a lot of moxie in this one. He needs to throw 2. He gets it done. Let's go first half, baby. Let's not even sweat this out.
Now, I like the Bucs. I want to ask a question. If they somehow, some way win this game outright, they were 26 to 1 to win the NFC.
Yep.
Lottery ticket before the game. I mean, if you can get it in, if you believe they could be live.
Well, if they win the game, I think it's going to change perception in a monster way. I think they'll become divisional favorites as well. You got to look at it in that South this week. You've got the Saints, the Bucs, as well as the Falcons, pretty much all in similar spots, around touchdown dogs on the road against the top of the conference there. If one of them pulls off the upset, they will be divisional favorites entering week number 3 quickly. Favorite touchdown scorer on the board this week?
Terry McLaurin plus 240. Didn't hit pay dirt last week. He will against the Giants.
J.K. Dobbins plus 150 plus today. I do think the Chargers bring that diesel ground game.
End it the way it should be. C.D. Lamb. Marshawn Lattimore's out. This number at minus 125. At the end of the day, we saw last season at home, Lamb scored in all but one of the home games. He had 10 targets last week. That workload is only going to increase with Jake the Snake Ferguson out of the lineup here as well. CeeDee Lamb finds the end zone, 125-plus yards today. Monster game from CeeDee Lamb against New Orleans. That is Joe Lisi. That is Donnie Rightside. I am Kevin Walsh. We appreciate you hanging out with us here on Pro Football Today. We'll see you tomorrow night for Eagles Falcons. Until then, best of luck on the bets.
Anyone that's been to
You say this is a smash, I'm going to run out and smash my button while you talk about Ramondre Stevenson.
I don't think the Bengals defense is one that you should be fearful of. I think they're middle of the pack. You know, they've lost the Bateses and some of those guys over the years that you used to fear. They got a lot of young kids in there who have some talent. But at the same time here, I do expect Ramondre to be a guy that is going to revert back to what he did a couple years ago.
Fantasy Sports Today, only on SportsGrid.
He had 4 grabs in the first half for just over 30 yards, was injured, came back in briefly, and then had to be carted off.
We were pessimistic on Puka Nakua's injury to the same right knee, of that being a nothing, just a bursa, and that's it, as per Sean McVay. We felt there could be a small PCL component.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Everyone had him Rookie of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Bears are going to the Super Bowl, Eberflus Coach of the Year. He was terrible.
If he's going to be a success, he's got to play within structure as much as possible. I get it. If the pocket breaks down, throw off the platform. That's fine. But within structure, when the play's there to be made, you need to make it, and he didn't do that.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
147 yards against the Jets and a touchdown? I mean, the numbers are incredible.
It's the Shanahan connection, and that's just what it feels like. And, Jordan Mason came into that game with a career 5.6 yards per carry. He's always been a very tough runner. He's always been good when called upon in small doses. You mentioned the yardage, which was impressive, but 28 carries. That's what I'm looking at.
Newswire. Only on SportsGrid.